SPSN.
Welcome into this exciting episode of the Scene Project Sports Network. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Kris Dehnart from Dugout Mugs. Kris, welcome to the show, man.
What's up? What's up?
Well, it felt poignant, right? Pitchers and catchers reporting, and baseball season upon us now. The Super Bowl is over. Football can take a rest for a few months before they really fire back up. So wanted to talk some ball, but I also wanted to talk about your company, Dugout Mugs, which is an absolutely incredible product, but really a great community and brand that you've built. Before we get into all that, though, want to get a little bit of your backstory and kind of what led you into Dugout Mugs and everything that you're doing now.
Yeah, man. So Dugout Mugs, we turn baseball bat barrels and we hollow them out. And we turn them into mugs, right? Like what we do is actually quite simple, I think. My backstory, so it goes back, my backstory goes back to like Gold's Gym, honestly. Like back when I got out of school, I realized that college and schooling wasn't really my bag. So I jumped into sales. I love sales. I've been in it my whole life and I'm good at it, right? I'm good at connecting with people. And Gold's Gym allowed me to do that. But then I realized I'm just working for the man, right? Like making somebody else's dream come to life. And that's when I started rolling out different ventures. Dugout Mugs is actually my 9th company. Everything I do tends to be in a field that I enjoy, beer, baseball, golf, cigars, fitness, celebrity endorsement and promotion and PR. And it's just where I live, man. I like it. So, the whole played out cliche of, do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Like that's kind of my goal. That's kind of what I'm shooting for.
Yep. Absolutely love it. A serial entrepreneur. I found myself in that on a much less successful plane. I've always been in the music business. That's what I love. And music doesn't necessarily pay the bills all the time, but I've built a brand off of our, addiction to independent music, right? Like I just like finding new bands and finding people that you would never hear of. And that's led me to, the last 2 years of my life, building out this podcast brand and now a network. But just like you said, like I have different interests. That's how we started the Scene Project Sports Network, is like, I want to do other stuff too. And this very quickly led to, PGA Tour events and PRCA events, talking with some of the biggest champions in the world. Rocker Steiner has been on our show. He's the #1 bareback rider in the world, setting the world on fire with a new TV show. I got to interview Chris Carter and Rondé Barber at a presser because there's just not a lot of media in South Dakota where I live anyway. So very fortunate to land in that. You kind of find the things that you're passionate about and dig into those. And I think if you remain passionate about it, you're going to find a way. It's very easy to drop off as a salesperson working for somebody else. And before you know it, you just don't have that love of it. Like a love of money only goes so far.
Yeah. And I've said it a million times. I've said it once, and it's not the only currency, you know what I mean? Like experiential living, at the end of your life, you got a bunch of stories. That's all you got. And one of my favorite movies was Big Fish. I don't know. You remember that movie?
I love that movie. Yeah.
And at the end of your life, you just got a bunch of stories and, they'll get embellished and it's fun. Like you're only here for a second, man. Like have some fun with the shit. Like that's what it is. Just have some fun with it.
Well, and what a great angle for you with Dugout Mugs to have it. I mean, you mentioned Ron DeSantis. I'm a huge Cubs fan, so that one's obviously close to my heart. But all these celebrities and these champions, right, that you've gotten to be with because the product that you make fits into their lives, right? Yeah. And not that you haven't had that with maybe some of your other companies as well, but this one feels uniquely poised to give you those experiences over and over and over again ad infinitum.
Yeah. I mean, every mug behind me is somebody I've collaborated with. Right. And this is a cool reminder for me that like, we've kind of done something pretty cool. And the celebrity and athlete endorsement and stuff that we get, it's unpaid. Right? Like there's only, of the hundreds, there's maybe 2 or 3 that I paid, and it was strategic from a marketing perspective. At the end of the day, like we make really high end, premium, cool ass gifts, and like what do you get somebody that can get anything they want, right? And when they're buying houses, I've gotten calls from MLB guys that got our mugs as a closing gift when they bought a house, or our governor here in Florida, he gives out our mugs every year at the spring training launch. When owners are buying teams, the Cohens, when they got the Mets, their gift was from a friend, was a set of our mugs that he displays in his living room. I the other day I was watching this clip where the guy, I like baseball cards and collectibles, I'm a big fan of that. And the Golden Auctions, the thing on Netflix, whatever that show's called, they're interviewing the guy with the most valuable baseball card collection on earth, that mint Babe Ruth worth 50 million or whatever crazy number it was. And on his back shelf, there's a Dugout mug, right? The guy that has the baddest collection on earth put away has one of my mugs on his desk. He owns one of the MLB teams, right? It's on his back shelf. And it's just like, wow, man. Our stuff's popped up on TV. It's popped up on it's just cool. It's just cool, man, to see what we've built. And where, like you said, where it's gone and where we can take it. And, in a lot of ways, we're just getting started. We've sold a lot of mugs, our numbers are nice, but yeah, there's a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it. A lot of fulfillment to it is, I guess, what I mean. There's a lot of fulfillment that comes from this particular business that is not monetary.
Well, and because a lot of these are given as gifts, right? I would say probably 85% or maybe even more than that are like the joy. And we talked about that a little bit before we jumped on, is that like your gift is joy, your product is joy. And like, that's really cool to make a physical product that can be completely customized for people, that then it sits in there on their mantle, right? Whether they got a bunch of trophies or not, that becomes something that's really important to them. And it's not just a product to have a beer out of, right? Like it's
right.
More than that. Although you could, it's nice to have a trophy you can pull down and have a beer out of, right? I mean, we can't all hoist the Stanley Cup or,
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, corporate gifting has actually been a vertical that's been exciting for us. Coors and Miller and Corona and Hard Rock and Celsius and Yamava and Fox Sports, and they buy our mugs as gifts for employee recognition or client recognition. And I think that has been really eye-opening. I didn't realize that particular space was so depleted of quality products. Right. So the corporate gifting side of things has been kind of fun. Same thing. It's like, this is something people will put on a desk. Maybe they use it as a pen holder. I don't know. Right. Don't care. Right. Like at the end of the day, it's something cool, fun, and unique. It's a talking point. It's great to pull out of your pocket, literally out of your back pocket, at a tailgate. Our mission statement for the company is we celebrate and serve the heroes of the baseball community by creating uniquely fun gifts that bring people closer to the game they love. That's what we do, right? And we don't like we don't sell mugs, we sell memories, right? So we can take Grandpa Jack and at the Cubs World Series and with his 3 grandkids, and we laser that onto a mug, and it's enshrined forever, right? And even after he's long gone, it's just cool. It's cool, the versatility of it, and truthfully, it's just a blank canvas, right? So we can put anything we want on there. Which makes it like, this actually is one of my favorites. I was just talking to somebody. So The Sandlot, we took and we engraved. So my buddy wrote, narrated, and directed the movie. So we put, and this is all laser engraved right into the mug.
It's incredible, man. Just fun, the right? Technology on these CNC machines, these lasers. And I come from the welding world. I was a welder for 5 years, worked in a factory, worked around a lot of the same kind of machines, different scales, right, than what we're using. But I love the craftsmanship and the manufacturing side of that. So I guess talk a little bit about that, from like just starting out, maybe one machine and a few guys in a factory, to where you're at now. I know you just had a move recently. You're probably still unpacking boxes.
Yeah. So where it all started, my co-founder and partner, ex-partner now, Randall, he was just sitting in a dugout, and he was a coach at his alma mater after he got cut from, he was in the minor league system, and he got cut, and he's like, well, I need to figure something out. And he was sitting in there, and somebody was cutting bats in half and turning it into a hitting drill, and the barrels are rolling around in a dugout. So, I mean, from the very beginning, there was like 5 bats cut in half, and he's like, oh, I wonder if I can drill this all the way out and drink from it. Really unique guy. And
as everyone would think when they see a, half of a barrel rolling around the dugout.
If you met Randall, you'd get it. That's just how his brain worked. And I remember, I still have photos of prior to me when he was inventing the idea of a chop saw screwed into his countertop in his studio in his sister's backyard. Right. And then our first warehouse was, this just crap hole, 800 square feet with like spiders in the corner. I have those pictures, I capture, it's a story, right? We're a story. And, where we started, and, now we've eclipsed $60 million in mug sales, which is a wild number considering how niche we are. So, now we're in an 8,000 square foot facility, 4 UV printers. We've probably got 15 or 16 lasers. We got a full team in there. And like I said, we were 8,000 square feet. We just moved into our new spot a few weeks ago because, part of the development of the company is creating new products. I have a golf company as well, Bigg Golf. So I was able to bring that in-house. Leveraging the same amazing team that I have, the same amazing equipment that I have to just do, the whole idea of do more with same, right? And that's kind of what I've been trying to figure out with our understanding my demographic. Who are they, right? What do they want? Why do they want it? And the more data we derive from the questions we were asking allowed us to build strategically. And, one of our more recent successes was the baseball board game. Right? If a 42-year-old woman is the number one buyer of our product, well, she probably has kids, probably has, probably wants them the hell off of their devices. Right. So this maybe a board game or travel, you can play it in the car. You can do stuff like that. And, nearly $400,000 in sales of board games. Right. That's not a bat mug, but it's made in America. It's solid wood. It's, it's the heart of the game, the quality, all the things that we actually are, right? And so the extra space is going to help us kind of continue to develop some new things and some new ideas.
Yeah, it's almost becoming dugout collectibles, right? More than just mugs. It's becoming a whole brand of more products, right? The mugs were a great launch and a great way to enter the market, but the more you dig in and, like you said, collecting the data. And I think that's something that a lot of people would miss out on, that were just like creators, right? Mm-hmm. People that were just coming in, were creating the mugs and didn't necessarily take this high level business approach that you really bring in, being a serial entrepreneur, this being your 9th company, where you're like, no, what else could we sell to the people that are already customers, and learning how to maximize, value in that instead of, the cost to acquire new customers is always more than selling to the ones that you currently have.
And it's going up, right? And I think we're in an economy now, especially with e-commerce, where there's a lot of scammers and there's a lot of, pop-up random stuff going on. So if we've built something where people know us, love us, trust us, it's not like, what else can I sell them? It's like, what else do they want? And can we provide it? Right. It's a very mutually beneficial relationship, right? We get to grow the business and we get to be a solid decade-old resource, and they know they're going to get quality. They know they're going to get customer service. They know they're going to get access to us. It's like I said, it's very symbiotic.
Yeah, and for as much business as you guys do, still a relatively small company at that, where you can provide those things to your customers, and building a brand of the expectation of the quality, I think, is so important. And a lot of, business owners and, just people in general kind of miss the point on just be good people. I think that sells very well.
you don't have to, if you're always transparent and you're always, if you're only concerned with what's in it for you, right? Like things get pretty slippery. So we've always kind of tried to understand our community and bring them things that support them. It's can we make something that represents them? It's, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the idea. And so we put out products before and they just weren't quality, dude. And we shut them down and we just ate it. We ate I'm not going to put that crap out there with my name on it, period. Even with the golf company, golf's an extremely saturated sport. And, I have a golf ball line. And, the golf ball world is saturated, and there's a few major players. We all know who they are. So breaking into that, everybody's expecting everybody to be subpar. So I did testing. I did TrackMan, swing test, robo arms. I put it in the hands of some pro athletes and let them go play. Now they're not going to get off their Pro V1 or Bridgestone or whatever they play, but they're like, dude, this ball plays. It's a solid, consistent ball. I was like, all right, cool. I'll put my name on that. And I think that's how that growing a little slower and growing with that mindset, I think is a good combination.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, they're not your consumer, right? To have their endorsement and to have their, kind of thumbs up of approval on it means something, because then you can use that to market to who is your market, who are the people that you're already selling mugs to and that are buying these products. So yeah, I love how that goes together. What's kind of the future of Bigg Golf? I know that Dugout Mugs is a very established brand, but Bigg Golf is relatively new in the space and breaking out there. What does the future of that look like as we move into a busy golf season?
Well, I think Bigg Golf, I don't want to say it's been shelved, but it's been just on simmer for a minute, because like I said, a couple years ago, my partner wanted to retire from this business and, go on and, start his family and his home and his new ventures. And he's an inventor, right? So he needed to move on. And when that happened, there was a lot of fixing to do and a lot of restructuring. And so Bigg Golf kind of took a back seat on that. But ultimately, I needed to bring it into that. I needed to bring it into Dugout, right? So the team, our logistics team is incredible. Our fulfillment team is incredible. Our quality control team is incredible. So when we do start to throttle it, because currently it has no employees, it has nothing, right? We do a lot of print on demand golf balls. So I work with, Mariano Rivera and Pudge and Big Poppy and guys like this. So when they do their golf tournaments, they're like, oh, hey, I need a couple 100 dozen golf balls with our logo on it. No problem. My guy can rip that out in a week. Right. And I think that I think the future of Bigg Golf is going to be the personalization space, the ability to customize and do logos. And if you said, oh, hey, man, I got my logo and I got an event in 2 weeks, can you get me 10 cases of golf balls? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. Right. So it's been a great add-on. But I think when it's a standalone, I think the personalization component of it's pretty solid. And we make a couple novelty products, right? We have golf balls turned into bottle openers and golf balls turned into cigar holders. And so it's just unique items that bring people into our ecosystem. And I'm a golfer. I presume you're a golfer. And 95, and that's being, that's probably lowballing it. They suck, right? Like you want a good quality golf ball that'll get you distance, and that if you hit it in the woods, you're not pissed, right? So we have a solid quality, low price golf ball, right? So it's a consumable, not edible, but it's a consumable, right? You lose them, every time you play, you lose some, and I think that right there is really where we're going to find a sweet spot, is our ability to turn product quick. That's still quality, that's still low price, that's customizable if you want it for like groomsmen gifts and things like that. Because the novelty gift market is something that we've learned a lot about with Dugout Mugs. So we're taking that information and that data, and we're trying to figure out, like we originally talked about, what else can we do? And there's a bigger vision that I'm hoping to roll out this year that encompasses all of it. It's going to have Bigg Golf, and it's going to have Dugout Mugs under it. And it's going to have hockey, and it's going to have football, and it's going to have, all these other things, but it's going to be a novelty gift shop for the most part, but sports centric.
Right, because the machines you have can do the work on anything. It's not specific to a single
Right.
material.
That's the machines. I feel like our real asset is our team, right? The people that I have in place with Eric and Jared and George and Tina and Brian and Tony, like what they're fantastic, right? What they can do is duplicatable in other ventures. They don't care what they're putting in the box, right? I just know they're going to get it 99.9% of the time. It's dead accurate, right? So I think our real asset is our team. They've all been with me for several years in the company, and that's why I feel comfortable bringing other things into our ecosystem, is because I know what my team can do.
Yeah, you're not hiring Johnny off the street to come in and to do this. It's a close knit. I would assume you consider these people family to you. I mean, and look at the products that they get to put in the box, right? I mean, that's something to be proud of. You're not just manufacturing the same thing. As someone who worked in a factory and just did it, there wasn't a whole lot of pride into just sorting out this same little part all day that's going on to something. You're literally making pieces of art that are going on the mantle in people's homes. That's something to be proud of. And I think that's something in the business world that's missed. It's probably why you are, the person and the entrepreneur that you are, and why Dugout Mugs has been so successful, because you understand that. And you're not in this as just a paycheck. Yes, the business has to grow and make money, but you understand the emotional human element of what it is.
Well, what isn't? Outside of AI, right? Like we're people doing business with people. Every day, people are waking up, they're going on about their human lives, right? Like when we stop being human about it, I think that's when, things can go sideways.
Yeah. Well, Kris, looking forward to continuing to work with you guys. I would love to have a set of big balls that I can shank into the woods this summer that says this is Bubba's ball, so they know where to return it to. A lot of these people out there playing the same course all summer long. It's a good ribbing opportunity, right? To say, oh, found another one of Jimmy's balls in the freaking creek, Yeah.
Well, again, with corporate gifting, same kind of thing. It's like, I remember, you'll get a kick out of this. Right. So Warren Sapp, I know Warren, and I texted him. I said, hey, I want to put your face on my balls just to see what he said. And then obviously quickly, I showed him a photo of his face with like a mohawk and a crazy look in his eyes. That old crazy Warren Sapp look when he was playing. And like,
you better have the follow-up to that loaded before
ready to just like 1, 2, 3 cent. But anyway, the corporate gifting side and the customization of it, it's fun, right? It's fun. We've done American flag. Like some of my favorites are just like American flags, freedom flags, stuff like that. Just, the things that are in our life on a daily basis, they need to speak for us, right? They need to be, they're every little micro, the flags behind you, the flags behind me, right? The every little thing around us typically says something about us, right? And I think that's what people enjoy. It's a really noisy world, and you don't want to, like, not virtue signaling and all this crap, but just like little nuanced things around us that's talk about who we are and what we're represented. And I think that's why Dugout Mugs, with the personalization, the custom things that we can do with that, and Bigg Golf as well. But at the end of the day, I do the things I like to do, and even on bad days, because there's bad days, mentally, financially, all the things. You could have a bad day with good people, and it's still a good day, right? And that's kind of what we're doing. We're in an industry that we enjoy. We're around people that we enjoy, and it just makes for just a good vibe, man. That's as simple as that. It's a good vibe.
Awesome, Kris. Well, tell everybody where they can find Dugout and Bigg Golf, and I'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, Bigg Golf we do the golf ball lines, a couple novelty products. That's bigggolf.com. And Dugout Mugs, You find us everywhere. You know, we're on all the major social platforms. We probably have a few million followers by now, which is wild. We're on Whatnot. We're selling on Whatnot. I just started doing the live selling. I'm really enjoying that. But dugoutmugs.com is where you can get anything custom. And yeah, and the only social platform I use publicly is LinkedIn. So, you know, if anybody's on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me over there. We do custom projects. We do all kinds of stuff. You know, like I said, if it's a good vibe and it's a good company and you're good people, folks tend to gravitate to that, you know?
Love it, man. Well, Kris, thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. And thank you for being part of the scene.
Absolutely.
SPSN.